Hey guys, let's review our vocabulary words one more time this week as we get started on this Thursday's lesson. So we'll do it with some picture cards today. This first word that we've been working with is gratitude. When you show gratitude, you show that you are thankful. Maybe this daughter got a birthday gift from her mom and she's giving her a hug to show her gratitude, or maybe the mom got a birthday gift from her daughter and she's giving her daughter a hug. One or the other, one of them is showing gratitude, right? That they're thankful for something. Gratitude is one of our words. Another word we've worked with is withered. That poor plant looks like it hasn't been watered in a long time. Withered, it's dried up and died. Give that thing some water. Maybe the 10 suns were shining down on it. Withered. Scorching. Yikes. Got a volcano here. Something that is scorching is very, very hot, like lava from a volcano, right? And reckless. Someone who is reckless does not care how his or her actions affect others. Somebody just set that lamp right on the ground with a cord. This lady's about to trip and fall and break her arm. Somebody was reckless, weren't careful about where they put that cord. Don't be tripping anybody with your cords, okay? Don't be reckless. Assumed. You assume something, you believe it without proof. So what is this picture showing us? I'm not really sure. Maybe he's reading a novel of some kind. He's assuming this novel that he's reading is true. Maybe it's fictional, but he's assuming it's true. I don't know what he's doing there. I don't really know what this picture shows, but I know what assumed means. It means you believe something without proof. Prosper. Look at that little maple leaf on the left. And it turned into a big maple tree, a little maple seedling, I should say, just barely growing. And there, if it keeps growing, it's going to prosper. It's succeeded. It did well. And that must be in the fall. That's a pretty maple tree. A sugar maple maybe turns that color. Prosper. And that's all. Those are 6 words we've been working with this week. Let's take a look at one little anchor chart today as we think about literary elements. Now, today you're going to read your story by yourself again. So you can either read it out loud to somebody or you can just read it quietly to yourself. I don't care which way you do today, but make sure you read your story one more time today. Remember, it starts on page 124, the Chinese legend, The 10 Suns. As you read it, let's think about these parts of our story. These literary elements. Literary elements are the pieces that make up a story, like the characters, the people and the animals in a story. What do they say and think? What do they do? What do other characters say and think about them? So who are the main characters in our story? Well, you've got the mom and dad, and I can't think of their Chinese names, but then you've got the 10 sons. The 10 sons are kind of the main characters. Then you've got this emperor who's like, why are you torturing us with these 10 sons? Then you've got the archer who shoots them down. So the characters, what about the 10 sons? They're kind of naughty, aren't they? In the video and the story we read, they're both kind of naughty. They just get up and do this thing on their own without asking their parents. And then in the video, they kept trying to explain. The emperor kept trying to explain, you're burning everything up. But they just kept doing what they were doing. So characters are an important part of a story. The setting, when and where the story takes place. When does our story take place? Well, it's not really a true place. The setting of our story is the eastern horizon, the sky, right? And in China, a long time ago is when the setting takes place. It's a Chinese legend, so it takes place in China and then up in the sky where the suns are. The plot has a conflict and a resolution, the main problems the characters face and how it's solved. Well, in our story, the problem is the 10 sons decide to go out on their own and go through the sky at the same time, and it starts burning up the earth. And the problem is they don't want to come back, and so their dad has to get an archer to shoot them with an arrow, and they turn into crows, except for one of them is the solution. It's a pretty sad solution, isn't it? But that's how the problem is solved, and the earth starts to be okay again. Events that happen. The change to a character. Yeah, 9 of the sons changed from a son into a crow to affect the mood, to build the plot. Events do these things. So, as we began the story, the boys were just bored. They didn't like doing the same thing every day. So you get this feeling they're bored. And then they're at night making this plot to go together. And so you get excited. And then you find out that they're burning up the earth because they're all in the sky at the same time. And then the mood really changes when the dad calls for the best archer to shoot him down. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's going to do this. And he does, and the plot builds, and one sun is left in the sky, and 9 turn into crows. And that's how the story ends. So that's the events of our story. Well, so all stories have characters, settings, plots, and events. Any story we read this year, we could apply all 4 of these to them. Well, like I said, I want you to read our story by yourself today, either out loud or silently, whichever you choose. It does start on page 124 in your reading book. For me today, you're going to have a spelling practice activity and one more synonym activity, last one for the week. So do those 2 things for me today, as well as your other assignments. And then we'll have this 4th day of the week wrapped up. And we just have one more day before spring break. Get started. Let's get this thing done. See you later.